Alrighty, so we're just gonna start out with our normal warm-ups. So we're gonna start out with our washing machine. So you can sit down, crisscross applesauce, or you can stick out your legs or do whatever you want. And what we're gonna do is while we're looking forward, if you remember, you breathe in, and when you're looking to the side, you breathe out. All right, so we're gonna start and breathe in, twist and turn to the side and breathe out. And then you turn back forward and breathe in, and twist and breathe out. In. Nice deep breaths. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Last two. In. And out. All right, now we're gonna do our little neck rolls. So you wanna look all the way down at your chest and then look all the way up to the sky and make big circles with the top of your head. And you can switch direction a little bit too. Nice. You can shake out your shoulders a little bit. All right, so the next thing we're doing is our cat-cow pose. Hope everyone remembers this one. So you go on your hands and knees. We call it tabletop position, right? And then we're gonna go from cat to cow, right? So first we stick our backs all the way in the air. We try to get our foreheads to touch the ground. And we're a cat, and you can go if you want, but you do not have to. So remember to do some deep breathing. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to stick our heads and our butts as high in the air as we can and get our stomachs to try to touch the ground if possible. Alright, we're gonna go back to cat and try to get our backs to touch the ceiling. Touch the ceiling just as high as you can. All right, last two. Back. You want to get your back to touch the ceiling one more time. Head almost touching the floor if you can. All right, and last one. Stomach trying to touch the ground, your butt should be trying to touch the ceiling, and your head should be trying to touch the ceiling. And if you want, you can wiggle your tail a little bit. All righty, and now we are done with that. So now we're gonna do some big arm circles. So you can do these sitting down or standing up. If you're sitting down, they can't be quite as big, so I would recommend standing up. And we're just gonna stand up here. Make sure you have some room to not hit anything. You can kind of do a little spin to make sure you're not gonna hit anything. Perfect. And we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna start with some smaller arm circles going forward. Like this. And slowly you can make them bigger and bigger until you've got some nice big ones going on. And you can do them a little bit faster or a little bit slower. Just make sure you're always in control of your body. All right, and let's switch direction. Nice. All righty. Okay, and now we're just gonna do our shoulder stretches so we can sit right back down for these. But we're gonna take one arm and we can hug it to our chest if we can. And if you can't get it all the way to your chest, it's okay if you just use your other hand and pull it a little bit. And with these, you always want to make sure it's not hurting. You want it to stretch and maybe feel a little bit good, but you do not want it to hurt. Alrighty, and now we're gonna switch sides. All right, and then our other two shoulder stretches where you take one hand and you touch your other shoulder, the back of it, You take your other hand and put it on your elbow. And you can kind of stretch it a little bit. You can pull lightly on your elbow, not hard at all. Nice. And then you're going to switch. So you're going to take your other hand and touch the back of your other shoulder. Put your hand on your elbow. Perfect. All righty. So we're going to get started for today. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to do some wall push-ups. So if anyone has a space like a wall that has just a little bit of room, you don't need a ton of room. You need like enough for your hands to go on. So if you have like a door jamb or something and your walls aren't suitable, you can do it on there too. I'm just going to do it right here on my wall over here. And so what we're going to do is you're going to want to take your hands and make them into like a little diamond almost right here if you can. You can spread them out a little bit more if you're finding it tricky. But then you're going to put your hands right here on the wall in that diamond shape in front of you. So it'll be like in front of your chest, like this almost, except your hands will be on the wall. And you're going to take your feet back 2 or 3 steps. So you're kind of leaning forward like this on the wall. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to do a little push-up on the wall. So you're going to kind of bend your arms and almost try to get your head to touch the wall, keeping your back straight. And then you straighten your arms again to push you off the wall. So I'm going to show like this. You're going to bend like this. And then you're going to push out like this, keeping your hands on the wall. All right? So we can all try this one together. If you don't want to be standing up on the wall, if you can't quite do that one, you can, of course, just do the pushing motion with your hands. Or if you have another surface or object you want to push on, you can always do that. All right, so we're going to do 10 of these together, all right? So down, up. And so they're a little easier if you go them like a little bit quicker, and they're harder if you go a little bit slower. So that is totally up to you. 3, 4, 5, halfway done. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. All righty. So next what we're going to do is we're going to do some arm pulses. So these you want to do to whatever capability you can. If reaching your arms straight out like this isn't comfortable and like it hurts your shoulders or anything, or you can't really do it, that is okay. You just want to reach your arms kind of as high as you can get them. If you can get your arms straight out, you want your arms straight out like this, all right? So these are called some arm pulses. And they're kind of crazy because you don't need any weights, but it still makes your shoulders pretty tired. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our palms and face them towards the sky, put our hands out as far as we can, and if you can only do it bent or if you can only do it at a low angle, that is a-okay. But if you can, stick your arms straight out, and then we're just going to hold them, and you can kind of pulse a little bit, kind of like you're doing a very light flapping motion with wings or something. And we're just going to do this for a little while, and you're going to start to feel the burn. And you might not be feeling it just yet, or you might have been feeling it right away. And this is different for everybody. So if you're practicing this like at home over the course of the week, you can do it for longer if you want it to do a little bit more of a workout. Or if this is too long, you can always do it shorter. And we're just going to sit here, and we're going to flap our wings a little bit. We're going to try to keep our arms up for as long as possible. If we have to put our arms down, that is okay. The goal is to keep our arms out as long as possible. And you should start to feel your arms maybe getting a little bit tired. Nice. Alrighty. We're going to hold it for 10 more seconds. When you're practicing, you can do for longer or shorter. All right, and you can put down your arms. And when you're practicing at home, if you want to make this a little bit of a longer, more difficult workout, you can do it with your hands in different angles. So you can do it with your hands facing the ground as well, or you can do it with your hands facing forward, whatever feels good for you. And you can do all of them in a row if that's better. But that's always a good one to do at home if you're trying to get your upper arm and shoulder area. All right, so now what we're gonna do is a reverse crunch. These are really fun, and you can kind of do them anywhere because, again, it requires no equipment. So I'm gonna put you guys right here. This is one where we're gonna be lying down like this, and it's a little bit tricky. So the things that you need to remember is you wanna keep your core tight and you wanna try to keep your back on the ground. Because if you let your back lift up like this, you can hurt it, all right? So you wanna keep your back on the ground. And if this position doesn't work for you, you can just do your best with whatever position you're in. So if you're sitting down, you can sit down like in a chair or something and just lift your legs like that, and that will also work. So if you just try to do your best to be lifting your legs in whatever position you're in. All right, so for those of us who are lying down, we actually put our legs out all the way. And what we're gonna do is, remember, we're gonna try to keep our backs on the ground. We're gonna kind of try to pick our legs up and then we pick up our bottoms. Now this is a little tricky. You do not have to do the pick up the bottom at the end. I just like to do it because I used to do that all the time when I was younger. So basically we take our legs, we're lying down, and we lift them up. And if you feel like you can kind of try to pick up your bottom a little bit. My hands are on the ground so they can help you push off the ground a little bit if you need that. And then you very slowly lower your legs back to the ground. And you can take a breath if you want to make it a little easier and relax, or you can go straight into the next one as well, all right? And you just lift it up. You can try to pick up your bottom, and then you can put your legs back down. Or you can just lift up, legs back down, up to you. All right, and if you're sitting up, remember, you do not need to be doing the pick up your bottom part. You can just do your best to lift your legs in whatever way you can. All righty. We're gonna do 10 of these together, all right? So up, down, 1, up, down, 2, up, down, 3, up, down, 4, up, down, 5, up, down, 6, 4 more, up, down, 7, up, down, 8, up, down, 9, up, down, 10, and we're good. All righty, we can take a little bit of a breather. That one's a little tricky sometimes. And we have one more exercise today before we do our cool down. And so that one is mountain climbers. And so we can take a little bit of a breath here, because if you do the mountain climbers pretty fast, those can be like a little bit of a breath workout as well. But what we're gonna do is, if you can, you're going to want to get into a plank position like this. So that's the one where your hands are on the ground and your feet are on the ground. And you're keeping your body straight in a plank. You do not need to do it yet because I will explain it in my table time, and I don't want you to get tired. If you can't be in that position, that's okay. If you're sitting down, that is totally fine. And you can try just lifting your feet or your knees one at a time if that is where you're at. And that is okay too. But if you can do this one, it's ideal to be able to put your feet and your hands on the ground. If you can't and you need to go to your knees, you can make that work as well, all right? So if being on your feet is too difficult and you need to be on your knees, you can, but we're trying to stay on our feet, and then you take one knee and you bring it into your chest like this, and the other knee, you bring it to your chest, put it down. Chest, put it down, chest, put it down. Does that make sense? And if you're trying to go a little faster, you can do a little bit of a running motion with it, but that's definitely tricky, and I wouldn't do that for your first time. Okay, so we're gonna do this together, and a good thing to remember is you wanna try to keep your butt a little bit low. You don't want it all the way high in the sky, because then you're not getting an ab workout. So yeah, you want to keep your butt a little bit lower, and we're gonna just walk our knees in like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, we'll take a breather and we're gonna do that one more time. And remember, if you're sitting down, you can also just do 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, if that's easier. All right. Now we're gonna do one more round of those. And get up on your hands and feet if you can. And we're gonna walk our knees in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. Great job, everybody. All right, and we're gonna start our cool down now. So we're gonna start out by standing up and doing our progressive straddle. So if you guys remember, you can stand up, put your feet however far apart is comfortable to start. And we kind of bend down. We don't need to touch our toes, but if you can, go for it. I like to make a little U with my hands, and we just kind of swing around and relax. And you can do some deep breaths. Great. And when you're ready, you can stand up and spread out your feet a little bit more and bend over and do a little bit more of the swinging. Remember to breathe in and breathe out. All righty. And last one, stand up and spread out your feet a little bit more. And we're gonna swing. And if you can touch the ground, you can try to touch the ground a little bit. If you can't, you just wanna reach as far as you can, but you do not want it to hurt, so do not hurt yourself. Great. All righty. So now we're gonna do our next cool down, which is our knee hugs. So we're gonna be sitting down. And this one's a good stretch. You can do it either sitting down or lying down. So if you're sitting down, you're just gonna take your knee and try to hug it to your chest if you can. Or if hugging it to your chest is too high, you can just put your hand on your knee, however high it is, and turn the opposite direction like this. And whatever feels good for you, this should kind of be stretching the outside of your butt muscle. So if you can hug it to your chest, that's great. If you can't, you can just pick up your knee and kind of push it away. Or if lying down is best for you, you can also lie down and put your knee over your body like this. And you want to keep looking in the other direction. Like I'm looking at you guys, even though my knee is the other direction. So that'll make sure I'm stretching it. All right. I'm going to hold this one for 5 more seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, and now we're gonna switch legs. And whatever you did to your first leg, try to do that to the second leg. All right. And we're gonna hold this one for 15. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. All righty. So now we're gonna do our child's pose and cobra. So what's important for these ones is in child's pose, when we're doing child's pose, you just wanna relax your back and your neck. So if you can't get into child's pose, you can just sit like this if you want and just kind of relax your neck a little bit. And we're doing cobra. The important part is you wanna stretch your chest. And so then you'll be looking at the ceiling and just try to push back your shoulders a little bit. So even though there's bigger body motions that we're doing, those are the important parts. So if you can't do those body motions, that is a-okay. Just make sure you go from relaxing your back and neck, and then you go to stretching your chest like that. All right. Those of us who are doing child's pose and cobra, for child's pose, I don't know if you guys all remember, But for child's pose, we just lie down like this. Remember, just relax your back and your neck. And your head should be sitting on the ground a little bit. And you can just do some deep breaths over here. And if you're sitting up, all that really matters is you're relaxing your neck and your back, and you can do some nice deep breaths there too. Perfect. All right, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the cobra. So this is the one you lie down on your stomach, and you can either push up on your elbows like this or push up on your hands. And if you're sitting down, a good thing to do is you just try to open up your chest and look at the ceiling. And that's the same thing you're doing in cobra, is you want to try to open up your chest and look at the ceiling if you can. Perfect. And we're gonna hold it for a couple seconds. Perfect. We're gonna go back into the child's pose. So if you're sitting down, you can go back to looking down and relaxing your neck and back. If you're doing the full body motion, you can go back to this position. Alrighty, we're gonna go back into cobra one more time. So just lie down on your stomach, and you can push up and open your chest and look at the ceiling. Yep, and if you're in a chair, you can just try to open your chest and look in the ceiling. And you still want to get some nice deep breaths. Five more seconds. Alrighty, and our last child's pose. So again, if you're sitting down, you just want to look down and relax your neck and your back. And if you're in the position, you can just go like this. In this last child's pose, if you want to get a little extra stretch in your back, you can try to walk your hands forward a little bit to stretch your back. Perfect. All right, and now we're gonna do our last one, and we're gonna do our baby pose. And so if you're sitting down, do whatever's comfortable. If you can put your hands on your knees and kind of hang out however you want, that works too. The way we do the baby pose is you lie down and you kind of put your hands on your feet like this. But if you're sitting up and you just want to try to hold up your legs like this, or however is comfortable, that works too. So if you're lying down on your back and you want to put your hands on your feet, and you can either kick a little with your feet or do very gentle pulls with your hands. You don't want to do anything that hurts at all. And we're gonna just relax like this for a couple minutes. And this one you should kind of feel in your hips a little bit. And you can put your knees out a little bit more and go out if you want a bit of a different stretch in this one. All righty. And you can sit up. And you can, if there's anything else that feels tight, you can shake it out and loosen it up a little bit. And I think we're all set for the day.